We're live? Woohoo! Good morning, adventure seekers. It's Ryan with CB Adventure Supply.
I'm Libby with CB Adventure Supply.
She can speak, in case anybody was wondering. Which, before we get into the Tacoma back here, I would like to bring up, do you have a date yet? Libby's going to be on the Women's Wednesday on the Overland Radio Network.
February 23rd.
February 23rd. So mark your calendars. If you're not following the Overland Radio Network on socials, go follow them because they'll post about that. But this morning, we are here to talk about the Tacoma. We've gotten some questions over the last couple of months in regards to what we've done to the Tacoma, what we like, what we don't like. So we figured we posted yesterday for folks to ask some questions and give us an opportunity to kind of put it out there on the interwebs for everybody to see and talk and discuss what we've done. So I guess we'll get into the first question.
All right. Why did we choose the Tacoma?
Why did we choose the Tacoma? That's a good question because we already have a GX, right? So I chose the Tacoma. I think is more accurate statement. I wanted to do a mid-sized truck platform. I saw the value in having a camper on a truck, and we've tried all different types of travel. We've done trailers, we've done vehicle soul-based on SUVs. We've camped out of a Jeep Wrangler. We used to have one of those, with ground tent. And so I wanted to have something that gave us a little bit more space, but still allowed us the ability to get into the remote places that we enjoy camping at. So I've looked at some other platforms. The reliability of the Toyota really just kind of is what pushed me in that direction. And I did want, there was this one checked the boxes. It was a double cab long bed. Here in Texas, that's not super common. I know in other parts of the U.S. it is, but I wanted the extra foot of bed and the ability to do a seat delete in the back and have as much storage as we possibly could behind the driver and passenger seats.
All right. So how does the Tacoma handle the extra weight of the Alu-Cab?
Surprisingly, the Tacoma handles the extra weight really well. Now, we're not riding on a stock suspension. We do have the Dobinson MRA with, I believe it's the 112 rear springs, and I have the Add-A-Leaf to put in there to make them a 113. Those springs on a long bed Tacoma are 600 pounds, I think 660, and it rides really well right now. Now, we do plan on putting goose gear. We have it on order for the rear of the camper. I do have the Add-A-Leaf to step those up to the 800-pound springs. We're going to put the goose gear in there and kind of see how that plays out. So I would say it drives really well.
Okay. So how does it handle the trails with the weight?
Really well. I think the size of the tire and the suspension, the only challenge that this specific truck has is that because it is a double cab long bed, the wheelbase is really long. So you have to really think about what you're doing, your turns. If you're going into a washout, you do have a longer wheelbase, so you want to avoid rubbing your belly. But the rock sliders, and these are actual designed for the double cab long bed, they're from C4. So they do have protection all the way to the rear tire. So if you did need to ride the rock rail on your way down a step up or down a step down, you could do that.
We didn't have any issues when we were in New Mexico with her.
No, we didn't. But again, we were, driving to the vehicle. Had I been in the GX, the lines we picked and things like that would have been different.
All right, so back to the goose gear. Is the interior of the Alu-Cab finished out? Obviously, it's not just yet.
No, it's not. So we do have the Alu-Cab goose gear build out, utility cabinets, double drawer modules with some of the sleeping platforms on order. We're waiting for those to come in, and then I think at that point, right now we have a bed rug back there. We really like that. It gives it a nice warm, homey feeling. But the goose gear storage, when we were in New Mexico for roughly a week between Christmas and New Year's, the storage and managing that, the longer we were on the trip, the more that became a challenge, and I think the goose gear will help solve that problem for us.
Definitely. All right. Have you noticed a mile per gallon difference since adding the Alu-Cab? What range are you currently getting?
So since adding the Alu-Cab, not really, surprisingly. Obviously going from stock to roof rack and bed rack, which is what we had before the Alu-Cab, we did notice a mile per hour gain, especially with these bigger tires. We're running a 305 70 17, so almost a 34 by 12. So that was probably the biggest impactor we had on the miles per gallon. But when we were in New Mexico, now this is before the re-gear, we were seeing on the highway, as long as we weren't driving into the wind, we were seeing about 12 or 13 miles per gallon. On the trails, we were seeing almost the same. In town, driving around, daily driving it, as it sits right now, I'm seeing with the gears, I'm seeing about 10.5 miles per gallon according to the computer, and that's pretty accurate. We checked it regularly while we were in New Mexico. I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of highway driving since the gears got put in, so I can't report as to what that did to it. But the gears, along with a tune, we do have a tune that was done by Downhill Dragon Tuning down in Austin. Those two really changed the game on how it drives. It drives really comfortably. It's not like the stock Tacoma where it's constantly hunting for gears now.
All right, so onto the gear. Tell us about the gear change. What ratio?
So we did nitro 529s. We kept the factory E-locker in the rear. We did not do a locker in the front. I just didn't really feel like it was necessary. With this being a long bed truck, it's going to have already its own challenges. I didn't really want to add in doing a front locker. I didn't feel it was necessary. So the gears really changed how it drives. It drives comfortable, a lot more comfortable now. It holds gears longer. It has the torque. I'm interested to see what it does when we pull the turtle back with it now. Obviously, we got to get through the first 500 miles of breaking the gears in and get Tandem to change the gear oil out for us and make sure everything's on the up and up before we tow the trailer with it. But just driving around in town, I think it should do really nice with the 529s.
All right. How much do you think it weighs?
That's a good question. Isn't that? Yeah, I feel attacked right now. You're asking me how much I weigh.
The people want to know.
The people want to know. I would say that, like fully kitted out, including the weight of the truck. My plan is once we get the goose gear on, is to hit a cat scale and see where we're at. I have a sneaky suspicion with the water tank full, all the goose gear, we're going to be over GVWR. It just is what it is. But I don't think we're going to be over by much.
Okay. How do you like the snorkel?
The Alpha equipped snorkel. I like it. I like the styling of it. It was a little bit of a challenge to install. It's not like a lot of the other snorkels on the market that have a rubber connecting tube between the snorkel and the airbox. This one has a rigid fixed tube. So for that reason, it took a little bit of getting everything in the right place. But all in all, I like it. It has a different look than most snorkels do, as well as the way it's drawing air from the rear near the window. I feel like that helps it pull cleaner air, which for us, that's the purpose behind the snorkel. It's not necessarily for water fording. It's more for making sure that the engine's getting clean as air possible to prolong the life of the air filter. But I like it. It looks good. It performs well. And if you have the passenger window rolled down when you get into it, you hear the whoosh, you can hear the air intake sucking in, so that's kind of cool too.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite mod? Mine's the goose gear.
The goose gear?
Oh, absolutely.
We don't have the seat
Seat
delete.
deletes, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a fridge back there now.
I mean, is the camper considered the mod? Because that's my favorite part right now.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you took that out of the equation, man, that's a tough one. I'm not really sure that I could pick a favorite. I have probably a few that, I mean, so the gears really changed the vehicle. You know what? I think it's the power brake that we did because of all this weight, and this is one thing that tends to get overlooked, is we did the stage 1 power brake kit on the front of the truck. This replaces the rotors. It goes to a 6-piston caliper. It has stainless steel brake lines that come off the hard lines. I would say any person that's going to be adding a significant amount of weight to their vehicle really needs to consider braking. We all look at tires, we look at wheels, we look at gear ratios. We tend to overlook the braking aspect of it, and I think that the power brake kit really is probably my favorite, aside from the camper, obviously. I really like the camper. It's a lot of fun, and it makes things easy. It's so fast to set it up.
You can stay warm.
Can stay warm. Has a heater.
Has a heater.
Now we need to figure out air conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Fans. Fans.
That's all the questions I have.
That's all the questions you have. Do we get any questions at all? Or no?
Someone asked if you're going to put a diesel heater.
A diesel heater. So right now we have the Dickinson propane heater with the GP Factor kit installed on the camper. I purchased, before the camper was in play, I purchased one of the Chinese diesel heaters. I don't know at this point that we really need it.
That's one for the walkabout.
I think we'll probably wind up setting that up to use with the turtleback when we are using the walkabout, and the turtleback is our primary adventure vehicle. I guess it's a trailer. But yeah, I don't know that, I've seen a lot of people use them. I'm interested to get out and start using one ourselves. We'll have to update you when we do that. But as of right now, the camper has a heater, and I mean, we're almost out of cold weather season for here in Texas, so it's comfortable with a couple of warm blankets. So.
This is a really good last question.
Okay.
Is the color an indication of your love of orange creamsicles?
It's funny someone brings that up, because I really do like orange creamsicles. I like the color scheme. Cole at Waterloo Wraps did the wrap for us on this, and he did the design and the install. And when we first started talking about wrapping the Tacoma, I told him, I said, I just want something that looks completely different. And I feel like he fulfilled that. So the color, orange and green, I mean, it's our thing. I really like it. Yeah, so I do like orange dreamsicles, or orange Julius. I don't know if that's even around anymore. They used to be in the malls. I don't think malls exist anymore. But either way. So, yeah, that's our Tacoma. If there's anything that we didn't touch on, hit us up in the comments, and I'll be sure to jump in there periodically and answer those questions.